Hey, everybody. We are glad,
Hello.
yes, to talk about value propositions to your sellers, to your buyers, and for your relocating clients. So take it away, Josh.
Yeah. Maria, take it away. No, I'm joking. We were chatting about this earlier. So, what an important topic, right? I mean,
Yes.
we've all been doing this for a little bit, and I can't think of a more important time to define your value
That's
as
right.
a real estate professional. Gone are the days of you just
Showing
thinking
up.
that you're going to show up and you're going to get that buyer agency contract signed when you're writing a purchase agreement and everything's going to be easy. Those days are coming to a close. And what's really critical is for you to have your value proposition defined and outlined for your buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
So
Amen.
we're going to look at this in three ways today. We'll start with buyers, we'll talk about sellers, and then we'll focus on, relocation is a big part of the market right now. So how are you helping people move in and out of your areas?
Yeah.
Huge in my area, Josh. Huge right
Yeah,
now.
mine too.
hmm
And it goes both ways. I'm excited to talk about the relocation piece, and we'll save that for last because it goes both ways. How are we helping people move out of town? And, I'll just save it. Let's get into buyers, okay? So
I
get
love
into
it.
buyers. Who wants to kick it off? Let's give some let's give some strategies in terms of how are you defining your value on the buyer side right now and making them feel like, you know what, I have to work with this person.
Yeah. For me, I think some of the things that are really important is my experience, the years that I've had in the industry. But I also tell everybody that, you know what, I am, and it depends on their age, right? I'm either going to treat you like my mother or like my child. I am not going to let you buy a house. Well, I am going to let you buy a house, but I'm not going to let you buy one until I walk through it with you and we go room by room, inside, outside. We really pick it apart. I point out every single flaw, not cosmetic, but every single flaw that I see that they need to know. It's different here because we've got due diligence that's non-refundable and it's due on the day the contract is signed. So they can have potential to lose a lot of money if they don't have somebody showing them all the potential um, uh, not defects, but issues, potential issues with the
Sure.
house. So I think that is super for me. I think that's super important, and I think that's like the best value that I have. Other than I do walk them through the process, education, and then I have a whole team of people. With it being lenders, home inspectors, surveyors. I mean, every single person that you need, attorneys, whatever you need, I've got the connection. So I think that's
Right.
really important as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes I think we do that so well, Jennifer, that they look to us kind of like as the home inspector, and I'm like, no, 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 I'm not the
Yeah,
home
and
inspector. But if there's some apparent things that are jumping out at me, certainly I'm going to point those out. But
yeah, and
I
that's
think sometimes we do it a little too good sometimes, and they
well,
look
I
to us
do
for
I
everything.
do make that disclaimer, right? I always say
Yeah,
before I start any sentence, I was like, I'm not an attorney, I'm not an appraiser, and I am not a home inspector, but I'm a damn good real estate agent.
I am.
Right.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
I love it. I love it. So you talked about providing some resources, right? Your vendor list,
hmm
your all your contacts, and what I was hearing is definitely your market knowledge and your showing knowledge from both of you. I mean, because the
Mhm.
reality is when you're taking a buyer through a home, they are ultimately going to immediately believe if you know what you're doing or not from an expertise level. And that ultimately leads to trust and confidence of you leading them in the right direction, right?
100%,
So
yes.
I'm assuming that's something
100%.
that you talk about, like we're writing this out up front. Like this is something you guys talk about in that buyer consultation, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And
What
And
else?
and
then sometimes,
sometimes it, and even
Go
go
ahead,
ahead, Ray.
Maria.
and even if even if because Jennifer and I especially work in this relocation type market.
Yeah,
And you may only be meeting them for the first time when they come down to visit,
that's
you know,
right.
the first time in person. And what I do is I try to show them what they want to see, but then also kind of remind them of my value as we're going through.
That's right.
And I try not to be too pushy or anything like that, but I do try to remind them, you know, hey, like we talked about, you know, this is, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this. And, you know, we're walking through the house and I'm definitely showing them my value and talking to them at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah, and
Yep.
another thing that I do, I had a map made of the area, and it's not like a road map. I mean, it is a road map, but it only identifies like major roads, but more of a zip code map. But it also has like our boat slips, like free ones and ones that you have to pay for. It has biking trails, it's got golf courses, it's got music venues, it has all the stuff on the map. Took me like 2 years. There's actually only 3 people in the world that can put a map together for you, and only 2 people that can print them, which I found interesting. But that's part of my buyer consultation too, is I sit them down, especially Maria, like you said, they're coming in from out of town. And I want to know what's important to you. Is it the proximity to the beach? Is it school districts? Is it, what is it? And then I get out this map and identify the different locations by zip code that potentially would be best for them based off of what they're looking for.
And that lifestyle that they're coming down to live in is so important. So that map is ultimately important.
Yep, 100%.
It's another great resource.
It took me 2 years to make it, and it changed already. So
mine changes every year. Every year it changes.
So just a couple other things I want to touch on before we move on to sellers would be one of the things I always talk about is my ability to negotiate and outwork any agent in the industry. I think in a competitive market, a buyer needs to understand that you give them the competitive edge, which we talked about, right? So like you need to be able to explain that. You need to be able to share examples of how you've won against 10 other people and why you won. And you out-communicated everyone and you were savvy and you understood how to do it, because I feel like those are the things right now that a buyer needs to know that you're a winner. Like, how are you going to get them to their goal?
No, I think that's exactly right. And I wrote 2 offers this week for buyers that were out of state buyers, and neither one of them want to close until August. Here it's a 30-day close. They were multiple offers, but because of my reputation, my communication, I got both of them accepted. And both agents were like, man, this is like, they didn't really want to do it, but they knew what a great, I'm not saying I'm a great agent, like pat on my back, but what the reputation that I have. And I think that is super important, right? Is that reputation of within your industry.
Never undervalue that, because that is so important, because those other realtors in our industry, they do base a lot of things off of our reputation and with having worked with us before and how we work together and what we're willing to do and how hard we work.
That's right.
That's a huge point. I've got it right on my list. Agent relationships. I mean, it gives buyers an edge. I'm telling you. So great point, ladies.
It does.
So the whole point of this is to define your own value proposition that can be relatable to buyers and sellers. So let's move on to the sellers. What are some of the things that you're doing that's giving you the edge in this market and gaining these sellers' trust and locking these listing contracts up? Let's talk about it.
So one thing I did, I have a listing that's going to go live today for 1.59 million. And she interviewed a bunch of agents, and I went through there where other agents are like, we can list it tomorrow. I was like, no, there's a process. And the process, we have to get your house ready. This is the process, right? I'm going to send a stager in. We're going to go room by room. We're going to talk about things that need to be done. You're going to have however long it takes you to do it. I'm going to send you boxes so you can start boxing up that stuff that they told you to get out and declutter. Then I'm going to send in a cleaner. So this is everything I just did. So send in a cleaner. And then tonight I'm having a preview party before it goes live with the agents on my team and a select other agents. But since then I've brought over flowers. I mean, I've really it's taken us about 10 days to properly get the house ready to be shown, especially, and I think Very, very, very important. And it's taken 10 days on my end, but they've been working for a month, honestly, pressure washing, cleaning. But on my end, I think it's important to set the stage, set those expectations, and also to help relieve that stress, because it is really stressful.
Right.
I have to remind my sellers, and this is so important, and Jennifer, it's back to what you're saying. There is only one time to make a first impression.
Amen.
Right.
And when that listing hits the internet, and I'm talking the Zillows and the Realtors.coms and everything of the world, you want it to look the best it can possibly look. And if you're not doing all of those things beforehand, it's not going to look the way that you want it to look.
And get a professional photographer. Because
For goodness sake,
showing some pictures the other day, I was looking at a listing that was listed at 1.3 million, and it was taken from their phone, and you could definitely tell it was taken from their phone. So I think I think also it's important I don't like photoshopping the pictures, because I want a buyer to know what they're seeing, and when they walk in, I want it to look like it did in the pictures, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
I tell people it's like Match.com. You want to know what you're getting into before you walk into it.
And Jennifer, I don't know about, and Josh, I don't know about y'all. I do it on every single one of my listings. I've got one going live either today or tomorrow, depending on when I get those photos. It's $350. I do the same thing for the $1 million ones that I do for the $350 that I do for the $80,000. It doesn't matter. I do the same process because I'm a pro.
That's right.
Right.
That's
and that's my reputation.
That's what I was gonna say. It builds that reputation. Absolutely. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
So you have to define that pre-listing value is critical. I mean, we've seen this time and time again that you get to the end of a process and people are actually more thankful and more talkative about how you help them get their house ready, and in turn maximize their return, maximize that value. One of the other statements I make in all of my listing presentations is, I am the guy. Everything is focused around not leaving $1 on the table for you and maximizing your return. That is everything that we're focused on here. And that is a bit of an art form, and people need to understand, and you need to be able to articulate that to your sellers. What does that mean? And give some examples, give some storytelling. I mean, there's plenty of examples that we've had where we probably could have left money on the table, but we took it that extra mile and we made our sellers an extra $25,000 by negotiating really hard, by going back to that buyer's agent, by a lot of people would give up in these situations, but we need to articulate how we're never going to leave $1 on the table and maximize the return. Get it in writing.
Yes.
Okay.
Agreed.
And that goes for buyers and sellers. I always tell my buyers my job is to not leave any money on the table both ways. If I'm representing the seller, I'm representing the seller. If I'm representing the buyer, I'm representing the buyer. Either way, I don't want to leave money on the table.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah. So last thing I want to chat about is relocation. And this is a good conversation. I actually want to start on how are you helping people move out of town? Because this is the best group to talk about this. I mean, we know everybody in the country, in North America, and a lot of people all over the world. So I think there's this missed opportunity for a lot of our clients that are moving to, say, Texas. And we have an opportunity to set them up with one of the best agents in Houston, Texas, or Dallas, Texas. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is our conferences that we go to. That's these, on these meetings that we have, mastermind meetings and all that. But it is super important to have that relationship, right? It's also important for me to know who you're using there and have that open communication so that we could best help those clients.
Right.
Make it smooth.
And that needs to be discussed as we're helping somebody list their home and we know that they're moving to Chicago or wherever they're moving. That needs to be a part of our value proposition. We're going to do the research. We're going to set you up with one of the best agents that's going to take care of you at the highest level. Switching gears to people moving into town, because we got another minute here.
So for us, and Maria too, I mean, we have a huge influx of people moving here because we're a destination station. I mean, we're beach communities. For me, I mean, I have people a month, year, 6 months after they've moved here saying, hey, what dentist do you use? What doctor do you use? Which grocery store has this product? Whatever. I tell people,
what nail salon?
Yeah, where do you get your hair done? I tell people,
I mean, really, it's everything, isn't it?
That's exactly right. And I think that's really important, again, with all your contacts to your people helping you close through the process. But another thing that I just started doing, and it's been fun, everybody's really appreciated it, is like trade accounts. I've started like 6, I'm hoping to get up to 10 different trade accounts that, like, for instance, a Wayfair gives 20% off to any of my clients. Pottery Barn gives 25% off to any of my clients. So it's taken about almost 2 months to sign up for it and prove that I'm not trying to resell the furniture and everything. But it's been really good to give to past clients, current clients, buyers, sellers, people needing to stage. I mean, it's been very good.
I would love information on that, Jennifer. I've done it with some local companies, but I've not done it with like the Wayfairs of the world. So I'd love to talk to you offline about that. That's excellent.
Yeah. And if anybody else wants it, I could send you the document. It is a work in progress. Like I said, we've got 6. We're waiting to hear back from 4 others, but I can send that to whoever wants it. Yeah, absolutely. I'll send it to you.
I love it. Last 2 things I want to say on that is if you don't have a relocation package, work on putting it together. We send relocation packages out all the time. People request it from our website all the time. As you guys know, we are shooting video content weekly, and up at this point, we're up to over 400 videos that talk about what it is like living in Grand Rapids, and which is really cool because now I can go to anything I need at this point. I'll tell you a story. I have these people relocating from Texas, Austin, Texas, and they're coming up here next week, and they want to look at waterfront living in Grand Rapids. And I quickly can send them a video because I just shot my top 5 inland lakes in Grand Rapids. So if you can build that type of credibility and just be able to send them a relocation package, send them a video library, send them what it's like to live on these lakes, like people get excited about that stuff. So you need to define.
I want a copy of your relocation package.
100%. If anybody wants that, like, I'm very proud of that, and people love it. We put a lot of time and effort into that. So if anybody wants it, send me a message, and I'll certainly send that to both of you.
Yeah,
we were one of the first to do that in our area, and I'm gonna tell you, it makes all the difference in the world. I mean, back literally in like 2002 and 2003, we started up our relocation because we realized our area is all about relocation. We got military, we've got retirees. We're like, we've got to do this. We've got to make this thing shine. So, I mean, it is a great thing to do.
So I'd like yours too, Maria.
Okay.
I did an old one, but it does not sound as nice as what you kids have. Sorry.
Well,
we even send them a certificate for a free piece of chocolate at Chocolate Tree.
Wow.
Nice. I love it. It's another opportunity to separate ourselves, and anybody that's listening, separate yourself, rise to the top, be the professional. And there's all these ways to do that. So we jam-packed probably an hour presentation into 17 minutes. So that was a lot, but hopefully some people learned some things, and, I suppose we'll catch up next week with some more information, right?
I can't
let them pick up, but they at least picked up a tip or 2, right?
I know I did.
Anyway, that's all we got.
Yeah, we'll make it a good day, and I'll see you next Thursday at 10:30. Bye, guys.
All right.